Hey guys, today I want to do another speaker comparison video. What can I say? I'm an audio enthusiast. I don't like to call myself an audiophile, but I like to look at different audio products like speakers, headphones, DACs, amps, IEMs, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I like to look at that kind of stuff on my channel too. And today we'll be looking at 3 different sets of speakers. These are all reasonably small speakers. They're bookshelf speakers, so you can use them for your home theater system as the left and right channels, the front channels, or you can use them on your desktop, I would say, because they're small enough to. And they're like reasonably affordable. So all these speakers are under $500. Previously, my other desktop speaker videos I did were like more expensive speakers. So I did the PMC DB1 Golds. They're about $1,000 US, and then the Neat Ministras, they're about like $1,700 US. So they're a little bit expensive. Today I want to look at some more affordable speakers to see how they compare. So I'm going to go off with each. I'm going to tell you guys the specs of each as well. So, alright, this one is the Klipsch R-40M. So Klipsch is an American company. I think they're probably one of the best known speaker companies, especially at the affordable end. So they make a lot of great value speakers, reasonably affordable. They're not too expensive, and I think a lot of people start out with them as their like first, dedicated like speakers, right? When they're upgrading from a soundbar or something like that, I think a lot of people choose Klipsch. They're generally, they sound pretty good for their price, I would say. They're not like the best sounding speakers, but good enough for their price, and they look really nice too. So yeah, Klipsch are known for making speakers that look like really like mid-century, like kind of like vintage. So I really like the look of Klipsch speakers. They really look much nicer than their price point would suggest, right? Like these speakers, you can buy them brand new for $300, but you can find them online as cheap as $200. And for $200, I mean, look how nice they look. They look like speakers that are like $1,000, or more. Like they just look really nice. So all these are 8-ohm speakers, by the way, so I don't have to like fool around with like matching them up with the right amps and stuff. I already know that my amp works well with 8-ohm speakers, so that's why I chose 8-ohm speakers for this. Like for example, I really want to get the Dali Spectres, but they're like 6 ohms, right? So I couldn't really match them up. I had to make sure that all these guys were 8 ohms. So technology-wise, the Klipsch has a 1-inch aluminum tweeter. They have a 90 by 90 Traxxas horn mated with this tweeter. And that's what Klipsch is known for, right? If you're buying Klipsch products, you know that they use horn-loaded speakers. That's what they're proud of. And I would say they're the most famous speaker manufacturer still using horns, which gives an interesting sound, right? It generally gives like a brighter type of sound. Some people like it, some people don't. But yeah, definitely you'll hear the difference with horns. It's definitely distinctive. And this is probably the smallest speaker out of all these. Weighs about 7 pounds, so it's also the lightest as well. The frequency response is 71 hertz to 21 kilohertz. Probably the worst out of these guys. But it is the smallest, so maybe that's not surprising. If you look at the back, there's just one set of terminals, and that's it, right? I think Klipsch really keeps it simple, and yeah, it's just very, very light. So 7 pounds is pretty light for a bookshelf speaker. So yeah, these are pretty light, small set of speakers. I think they're nice for like someone just getting into the entry-level audio world. They were looking to upgrade from your whatever computer speakers they're using. Maybe they don't have any computer speakers. They're just using laptop speakers, and they're looking for an upgrade. Or they have a sound bar, or they're using like, I don't know, some portable Bluetooth speaker thing, and they're looking for a nice entry-level bookshelf speaker. Then I think the Klipsch's are the way to go. If these ones are, I think they also make different powered versions as well. So if you don't want to deal with the hassle of buying your own amp to match up with this, then I would recommend getting some powered speakers. Klipsch makes a few powered speakers. There's also brands like Audio Engine, for example. I think Fluence makes some. Totem. Yeah, this Encanto. Like, there's a few other brands that makes nice powered speakers you can go with. Yeah, so powered speakers are probably the easiest for people getting into, like upgrading, into the entry-level audio, because they don't have to like find the right amp to match with it and stuff, and it takes up less space on their desktop. So yeah, anyways, these are not powered speakers. These are passive speakers, which means you need to also buy an amp to match up with them. Yeah, probably integrated amp. If you really want to get into it, you can buy like separates, but for these like entry-level speakers, I think an integrated amp would be fine. So yeah, I think these are nice entry-level option. Again, if you're really new into the audio space, I would recommend powered speakers if you don't want to deal with buying an amp. But these ones are all passive, so you'd have to buy like an integrated amp to pair with them. All right, next moving on to the next level. Actually, in the US, these cost about the same as the Klipsch's, but these are the Triangle Borea BR02s. They're a French company. These are actually created and designed in Soissons, France. So it's interesting that these speakers in the US, they cost the same. They're about $300. But for this price, I mean, you get something that's actually made and designed in France, which is pretty good. Really good value, actually. I'm not sure if the Klipsch's are made in America. I don't think they are for this price point. But the Triangles, it says here, created and designed in Soissons, France. So they made these speakers in France for $300. Like, that's incredible value. And then they're actually the biggest out of these too. Like, probably they'll have a pretty nice frequency response given the size, and they'll probably have better bass as well. So I think Triangles, if you look online, all the Triangle speakers usually get some really good reviews because of the value. So Klipsch's are already pretty good value. Triangles, I think, might be even better value than the Klipsch, and yeah, that's why I'm also putting this speaker into the comparison here. Now I say the US because in Canada, for some reason, I'm not sure why, maybe if you know, let me know, Triangles are like twice as expensive in Canada than the US. So I had to import these from the US and ship them here. It's still cheaper than buying them here in Canada. I'm serious. In Canada, they're like double the price. They're like $600 US here in Canada, which is ridiculous. So I don't know why these are so much more expensive in Canada. But anyways, bought these from the US because they're so much cheaper. And for the price they sell for in the US, it's just ridiculous. $300 for this size bookshelf speaker made in France. Like, they have one set of output terminals here, right? So again, just like the Klipsch, nothing special, but they definitely look a lot more high quality. I mean, the Klipsch's look like, I mean, they look mass manufactured and stuff like that. These ones look similar in quality almost, I want to say, to my PMCs, which are actually handmade in the UK, and my PMCs are a lot more expensive. So yeah, I can already tell the Triangles are really good value, even compared to the Klipsch's. So for most people starting out, the Klipsch's will be fine, but I mean, for the same price, look at these Triangles. They look really nice. So the specs of these, so these ones have a better frequency response than the Klipsch's. They have 51 Hz to 22 kHz, so they go lower, which I think would be expected because they're bigger. They have a bigger tweeter. So they have a 1-inch silk dome tweeter, and then a 5-inch woofer, which is bigger than the one on the Klipsch. So yeah, these ones look like tremendous value. I mean, sure, they're not as light as the Klipsch. These are like 11 pounds, 10.7 pounds. So yeah, they're definitely heavier than the Klipsch, and they're bigger. But they're still not like super heavy or super big. So they're still able to fit on most desktops, I would say. So yeah, these definitely look like, to me, a lot better value than the Klipsch's, even though the Klipsch's are already pretty good. For the same price in the US. Again, here in Canada, for some reason, it costs double. I don't know why. Alright, and moving on to the last set here. These are the Monitor Audio Bronze 50s. These are the most expensive. They sell for $500 US. So definitely more expensive than the Triangles or the Klipsch's. They're also, like, all these speakers are 8 ohms, like I said. The frequency response is the best on the Monitor Audio Bronze 50s. Even though they look smaller than the Triangles, 40 Hz to 30 kHz. And these actually have, despite the size, I think these actually have a bit of a bigger woofer, which is interesting. That might explain why it has a better frequency response. It has a 5.5-inch C-cam woofer and a 1-inch C-cam gold dome tweeter. So despite the fact that it looks smaller than the Triangles, it actually has a bigger woofer and a better frequency response. And it weighs about the same as the Triangles, so about 11 pounds. So yeah, despite the size, I think they fit a lot of technology in here. And Monitor Audio, by the way, is a British company. So I don't think they make these in Britain. I think they're definitely made in China. So unlike my PMCs and Neats, they're not made in the UK. But they put a lot of technology in here, wow, for the size. Okay, in the back here, I put foam bungs in here, which they supplied because the bass would get a bit boomy. If I take these out and just put them near my wall, it's going to get a little bit boomy, so they recommend putting the foam bungs in. This is like a Hive 2 port or whatever, so it's rear ported. So 2 sets of terminals compared to the 1 set on these guys. And yeah, you definitely can tell these are a more expensive pair of speakers because they seem to fit a lot more inside a smaller package. So they seem to get a better frequency response than the triangles while fitting them in a smaller dimension size, same weight, but smaller dimension size. So it seems like they're packing a little bit more technology in a smaller space here, which is probably why they're more expensive. So anyways, we're going to take a look at all these guys. The Klipsch R-40Ms, probably I would say the lowest end out of these, and then the Triangle Borea BR02s, and then the Monitor Audio Bronze 50s, the most expensive out of these. But anyways, like still all under 500 bucks. Still relatively affordable compared to my current bookshelves, which are the $1,000 PMC DB1 Colts and the $1,700 Neat Acoustics Ministra. I want to see how these perform compared to my current bookshelves, because if these perform like at a similar, maybe almost as good or at a similar level to my current bookshelves, then we know these ones are which speakers here are really good value, right, for what they are. So yeah, I'm just going to do a standard test. I'm going to play 2 tracks which are non-copyrighted. It's the same ones I always play on my channel, and maybe you guys can let me know which one sounds the best to you, just using the same microphone from my Sonys to record all of them. So yeah, we're going to test them out. The Klipsch versus the Triangles versus the Monitor Audios, and I'm going to see how much do you get for these like smaller speakers in these like cheaper, more affordable speakers compared to my more expensive bookshelves for a desktop setup. And by the way guys, in no way am I saying that these are the best value bookshelf speakers on the market. There's so many good affordable bookshelves out there. I just chose these 3 based on the specifications, and I like the looks of some of them, and I want to try out some of these models. That's why. But there's a lot of good affordable bookshelves out there, like the brands I mentioned: Fluence, Audio Engine, ELAC I think is a good brand, Q Acoustics, Emotiva, yeah, Genelec I think is another good one that gets brought up sometimes for good frequency response. So yeah, I just brought up these 3 because I wanted to try out these 3 models, and they managed to fit my specifications that I was looking for, and that's pretty much why I chose these 3. So yeah, there's so many other good brands out there, so yeah. Too many speakers to compare, right? There's just a lot of them. Jammo I think is another good one that makes them low-cost speakers. Yeah, it's too many. And also SVS for subwoofers. I think most people know that SVS is a very good value brand for subwoofers. I'm going to be using a REL T0 Mark III subwoofer in this speaker demonstration, but by all means I think SVS is probably the better value for subwoofers. Alright guys, so I have the speakers hooked up to a Rotel A12 integrated amp and a REL T0 Mark III subwoofer, and I have the speakers on isoacoustic stands in order to prevent unwanted vibrations from the surface. And yeah, besides that, the only differences are really just going to be the speakers. Everything else is going to remain the same throughout these comparisons. Alright, so we'll be playing 2 different tracks each. Also, I'm going to throw in the PMC DB1 Golds in the mix just for fun. I know it's beyond the budget range of these other speakers. I mean, these ones are $1,000, so that's way more expensive than these other speakers, which are all under $500. However, they are around the same size, so they're actually just a little bit bigger than the Klipsch's and just a little bit smaller than the Monitor Audio Bronze 50s. So just for the size comparison, it'll be interesting to hear these guys. So yeah, I'm going to throw these guys into the mix too, and you guys can give a verdict on how they sound. Alright guys, so after having listened to all the speakers, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of them. Which ones do you prefer? So yeah, let me know in the comment section below, and as always, thanks for watching.